Steve Jobs picks up the phone. His doctor is on the line. "We found something on your pancreas. You need to come in immediately." The biopsy results come back. Pancreatic cancer. One of the deadliest forms. Survival rate, less than 5%. The doctors tell him, "Get your affairs in order. You have maybe 6 months." Jobs hangs up. His team expects him to cancel everything. To break down. To retreat. Instead, he calls a meeting. Walks in calm. Focused. And says something that shocks everyone: "This changes everything. Now I know exactly what matters." For the next 8 years, until his death in 2011, Steve Jobs lived differently. More intensely. More purposefully. More alive. Because he practiced something the ancient Romans called Memento Mori. Remember you will die. And that simple reminder transformed how he spent every single day. This is not a philosophy about death. This is a philosophy about life. About living so fully that when death comes, you have zero regrets. And once you understand it, everything changes. Your priorities. Your choices. Your entire existence. Here is the lie you have been living. You act like you have infinite time. You say, "Someday I'll do that. Someday I'll start the business. Someday I'll call that person. Someday I'll take the trip. Someday I'll tell them how I feel." You delay. You procrastinate. You wait for the perfect moment. And the perfect moment never comes. Because you are operating under a false assumption that you will always have tomorrow. But you will not. Your time is finite. The number of breaths you will take is fixed. The number of sunrises you will see is limited. The moments you have with the people you love are numbered. And you do not know that number. It could be 50 years. It could be 50 days. It could be today. Memento Mori is the philosophy that forces you to confront this reality. Not to depress you, but to wake you up. Because when you truly accept that your time is limited, you stop wasting it. You stop living on autopilot. You start making choices that matter. Memento Mori is Latin. It means, remember you must die. But its origins go back further than Rome. The concept appears in ancient Egypt. In Buddhist teachings. In Stoic philosophy. But the Romans ritualized it. They turned it into a practice. In ancient Rome, when a general won a major battle, he would return to the city in triumph. A massive parade. Crowds cheering. The general riding in a golden chariot. At the peak of his glory. But behind him, standing in the chariot, was a slave. And that slave had one job. To whisper in the general's ear throughout the entire parade, Memento Mori. Remember you are mortal. Remember you will die. Why? To prevent the general from becoming arrogant. From thinking he was a god. From forgetting his humanity. The Stoics adopted this practice and expanded it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Not someday. Right now." He kept a Memento Mori practice. Every morning, he would meditate on his mortality. Remind himself, today could be my last day. How does that change what I do? This was not morbid for Marcus. It was liberating. Because it clarified everything. The petty drama at court? Irrelevant. The pursuit of fame? Pointless. The fear of what others think? Gone. When you remember you will die, all the trivial concerns evaporate. Only what truly matters remains. Steve Jobs discovered Memento Mori early. In 1972, at age 17, he read a quote, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." That sentence lodged in his brain. He began a practice. Every morning, he would look in the mirror and ask himself, "If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today?" He said, "Whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something." This was before Apple. Before the billions. Before the fame. Just a teenager trying to figure out how to live. That practice shaped everything that followed. When he dropped out of college, people thought he was crazy. But Jobs asked the question, if I only have limited time, do I want to spend it in classes I do not care about? The answer was no. So he left. When he started Apple in a garage, people said it was impossible. But Jobs asked, if I die tomorrow, will I regret not trying? The answer was yes. So he built it. When he got fired from Apple in 1985, it devastated him. But he asked, do I give up or do I keep creating? He kept creating. Started Next. Started Pixar. Both became massive successes. When Apple brought him back in 1997, the company was dying. He had limited time to save it. He cut everything non-essential. Focused only on what mattered. The result, iMac, iPod, iPhone, iPad. A complete transformation. All of it driven by one question, what would I do if my time was limited? Then in 2003, the question became literal. Pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave him months. He refused to accept it. Got surgery. Experimental treatment. Bought himself time. But he knew the clock was ticking. In 2005, he gave a commencement speech at Stanford University. The speech became legendary. In it, he said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart." That speech has been watched over 40 million times. Why? Because it articulates something everyone feels but cannot express. We are all going to die. And most of us are living like we are not. Jobs continued. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be, because death is very likely the single best invention of life. It is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. This is Memento Mori at its core. Death is not the enemy. Wasted life is the enemy. Let's examine the psychology and neuroscience behind why Memento Mori works. There is a field of research called terror management theory. It studies how humans deal with the awareness of mortality. The findings are fascinating. When people are reminded of death, they respond in one of two ways. The first response, denial. They distract themselves. Buy things. Pursue status. Build monuments. Try to create symbolic immortality. This is the default for most people. The second response, acceptance. They confront mortality directly. And that confrontation changes their behavior. They become more authentic, more generous, more focused on relationships and meaning. Research shows that when people are primed to think about death, they make better decisions. They prioritize what matters. They repair damaged relationships. They pursue meaningful work instead of just money. They live more aligned with their values. This is the Memento Mori effect. Death awareness does not make you depressed. It makes you alive. Another study looked at people diagnosed with terminal illnesses. Researchers expected to find despair. Instead, many patients reported, "This is the most alive I have ever felt." Why? Because suddenly every moment became precious. Every conversation mattered. Every sunset was beautiful. The awareness of limited time transformed their experience. This is what Jobs discovered. The cancer diagnosis did not destroy him. It focused him. Here is how to practice Memento Mori in your daily life. Step 1, the morning question. Every morning, look in the mirror and ask, if today were my last day, would I want to do what I am about to do? If the answer is no for too many days in a row, change something. This is not about quitting your job impulsively. It is about alignment. Are you moving toward what matters or away from it? Step 2, the annual review. Once a year, write your own eulogy. Seriously. What do you want people to say about you when you are gone? Then compare that to how you are actually living. The gap between the two is where your work is. Step 3, the death meditation. The Stoics did this daily. Spend 5 minutes imagining this is your last day. Not morbidly. Practically. What would you do differently? Who would you call? What would you say? Then do those things. Step 4, the finite time calculation. Calculate how many days you have left. If you are 30 and expect to live to 80, you have roughly 18,000 days. That number seems big until you see it written out. 18,000, that is it. How many of those days will you waste scrolling? Complaining? Postponing? Each day you waste is gone forever. Modern culture is built on denying death. We hide it. Old people go to retirement homes where we do not see them. The dying go to hospitals. Funerals are rare. We avoid the topic. Use euphemisms. Passed away. Lost. Anything but died. This denial has a cost. It makes us live as if we are immortal. As if we have infinite chances. Infinite time. But we do not. The average human life is about 4,000 weeks. Read that again. 4,000 weeks. That is all you get. And most people waste the majority of them. Not on purpose. But by default. By living on autopilot. By postponing what matters. By prioritizing the urgent over the important. Memento Mori breaks the autopilot. It forces conscious choice. Every decision becomes, is this how I want to spend my limited time? The answer changes everything. That job you hate? Maybe you stay for practical reasons, but now you actively plan your exit. That relationship that drains you? You either fix it or end it. That dream you keep postponing? You start today. Because someday might never come. In Steve Jobs' final years, Memento Mori shaped every choice. He knew his time was running out. In 2009, he got a liver transplant. Bought a little more time. But the cancer returned. By 2011, he was visibly dying. He could have stepped back. Retired. Spent his final days in comfort. Instead, he worked. He obsessed over the details of the iPhone 4S. The iPad 2. Even the design of Apple's new campus. People asked him, "Why are you working so hard? You should rest." Jobs said, "I want to make sure Apple continues without me. That is how I want to spend my time." He worked until weeks before his death. Not because he had to. Because it gave his remaining days meaning. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs died. He was 56 years old. His final words, according to his sister, were, "Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow." No one knows what he saw. But those who practice Memento Mori believe, he lived so fully that death was not tragic. It was completion. Here is the paradox of Memento Mori. Thinking about death does not make you value life less. It makes you value life more. When you accept that your time is finite, every moment becomes precious. That conversation with your parent? Might be the last one. That sunset? Might be the last you see. That hug? Might be the last you give. This awareness does not create anxiety. It creates presence. You stop taking things for granted. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop postponing joy. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested. The problem is not lack of time. The problem is wasted time. Memento Mori is the cure. Let me tell you what happens when you truly internalize Memento Mori. First, your fear of judgment disappears. What does it matter what they think? You will be dead. They will be dead. None of the social anxiety that controls most people's lives matters when you zoom out to mortality. Second, your priorities clarify instantly. The trivial falls away. The essential becomes obvious. You stop doing things out of obligation and start doing things out of intention. Third, your relationships deepen. When you know your time with someone is limited, you show up differently. You listen better. You forgive faster. You love harder. Fourth, your creativity explodes. The fear of failure loses power. If you are going to die anyway, why not try? Why not risk? Why not create something that matters? Here is the final truth about Memento Mori. It is not a philosophy about death. It is a philosophy about freedom. Because the moment you accept your mortality, you are free. Free from the opinions of others. Free from the fear of failure. Free from the need to impress. Free from wasted time. You become the author of your own life. Not living by default, but by design. Steve Jobs understood this. Marcus Aurelius understood this. Every person who has truly lived understood this. Your time is limited. The clock is ticking right now. Not someday. Now. How are you spending this day? This hour? This moment? Are you doing what matters? Or are you postponing? Are you present? Or are you distracted? Are you alive? Or are you just existing? Your Memento Mori practice starts today. Not tomorrow. Today. Look in the mirror. Ask the question, if today were my last day, would I want to do what I am about to do? If the answer is no, change it. Call the person you have been meaning to call. Start the project you have been postponing. Say the words you have been holding back. Because you do not know how many days you have left. None of us do. But you know you have today. And today is enough. If you live it fully. If you live it intentionally. If you remember, this is it. This is your one life. Do not waste it. Memento Mori. Remember you will die. And let that truth set you free.